the electric grid is undergoing a transformation. Inverter-based resources, solar panels, battery storage, wind turbines, are rapidly replacing traditional synchronous generators. These technologies enable cleaner, more flexible energy systems, but they also fundamentally alter the behavior of the grid during faults. Unlike large rotating machines that flood the system with fault current, inverters limit their output, often to just 1.1 to 1.5 times nominal current, and generate non-sinusoidal waveforms due to semiconductor switching. This makes traditional protection schemes like overcurrent and distance relays less reliable, especially in modern, multi-source, bidirectional networks. Worse still, the increasing digitization of substations, driven by standards like IEC 61850, has expanded the cyberattack surface. Malicious actors can launch false data injection attacks, replay data, or spoof GPS signals to manipulate protection systems. These cyber intrusions can mimic physical faults or prevent necessary trips, leading to equipment damage or widespread outages. The challenge: distinguishing between a real fault and a cyberattack in real time, especially when both produce similar signatures in voltage and current waveforms. This is where machine learning comes in. But not just any machine learning. The key insight from our research is this: high offline accuracy alone is a poor predictor of real-world performance. Many studies report accuracy exceeding 95%, but often on simplified, low-fidelity datasets that ignore transient noise, timing misalignment, and class imbalance. They evaluate models in static batch mode, ignoring the dynamic reality of live power system operation. To bridge this gap, we developed a high-fidelity evaluation framework grounded in electromagnetic transient, EMT, simulations using WinIGS at 4.8 kHz, 80 samples per cycle for a 60 Hz system. This sampling rate captures fast transients, harmonic content, and subcycle dynamics critical to inverter-based behavior. Our testbed, shown in Figure 1, is a realistic digital substation model with both synchronous generators and inverter-based resources. A 50 kVA photovoltaic system, a 30 kVA battery energy storage system, step-down transformers, distribution lines, and various loads, including capacitor banks. Data was collected via virtual merging units, MUs, compliant with IEC 61859-2 LE, the standard for digital substation communication. The dataset consists of 18 classes, 1 normal operation state and 17 distinct anomalies, including single line-to-ground faults, double-line faults, three-phase faults, CT and PT ratio attacks, and GPS spoofing, both on MU32 and MU23. These anomalies were injected at controlled intervals, with normal operation periods interspersed, mimicking real-world conditions. We trained and evaluated 12 machine learning models, ranging from classical algorithms like decision trees, random forest, SVM, and logistic regression to ensemble methods like ADA boost, gradient boosting, extra trees, and KNN, plus 3 variations of multi-layer perceptrons, MLPs. All models were trained on standardized, label-encoded COMTRADE formatted data, using stratified sampling to preserve class balance. But the real test came in Phase 2, real-time streaming inference. We evaluated the models on a separate 6-second dataset containing 5 sequential anomalies. To simulate operational constraints, we implemented a streaming pipeline with 2 key components: a one-cycle-centered moving average filter with nearest-edge padding to suppress noise and classification jitter, and a confidence threshold of 0.6 to prevent low-confidence decisions. At each sample, every microseconds, we computed the model's predicted class probabilities, applied the moving average to smooth the output, and then made a decision: either predict the most confident class or abstain if confidence was below the threshold. This introduced a fixed look-ahead of 40 samples, about 8.3 milliseconds, but enabled sub-cycle responsiveness, crucial for protection applications. The results were striking. In offline evaluation, nearly all models achieved near-perfect accuracy, some as high as 99.88%. But in the streaming environment, the story changed dramatically. The MLP neural networks, especially the wider configuration with 3 hidden layers, sustained classification coverage above 98%. They produced confident predictions for almost the entire 6-second window, maintaining stable, accurate classifications across all anomalies, including the most challenging double line-to-ground fault on phase AC, which tripped up many models. In contrast, ensemble methods like random forest and extra trees were far more conservative. While they preserved perfect precision during the anomalies they did classify, meaning every prediction was correct, their coverage dropped to just 48.7% and 10.8% respectively. They abstained frequently, often refusing to make a decision even when the signal was clear. This highlights a fundamental trade-off. Ensembles prioritize precision over coverage, while neural networks prioritize coverage over caution. In a protection system, where missing an anomaly is catastrophic, high coverage is essential, even if it means accepting a few false positives. Abstention, while safe in theory, can lead to undetected threats in practice. We also observed that the MLP model demonstrated remarkable robustness to benign disturbances. During system energization, it correctly classified high inrush currents from capacitor switching and subcycle oscillations from LC resonance as normal operation, something many models fail to do. This ability to distinguish between real faults and startup transients is critical for reducing false alarms. Timing analysis revealed that while the MLP achieved classification in under 15 milliseconds, its average inference latency, including computation, was around 60 milliseconds. This exceeds the 50 ms requirement for primary protection relays. So while the model is dependable, immediate deployment in real-time protection remains constrained by computational overhead. Why do the MLPs outperform ensembles? The answer lies in their architecture. MLPs have a higher capacity for adaptive learning. With more neurons and layers, they can learn complex nonlinear patterns in high-dimensional time series data. They're better at generalizing across subtle variations in transient behavior, especially in IBR-rich environments where fault signatures are weak and noisy. Ensembles, on the other hand, rely on aggregating decisions from many weak learners. While this reduces overfitting and improves stability in static settings, it makes them sensitive to noise and transient uncertainty in streaming data. When confidence is low, they default to abstention, safe but operationally limiting. Our findings underscore a critical lesson. Offline accuracy is not a proxy for field readiness. To ensure dependable deployment in real power systems, we must evaluate models under streaming conditions, with metrics that capture coverage, abstention rate, and timing performance, not just accuracy. We've open-sourced the full dataset and code, available at github.com/imaden/t4tech, so researchers can benchmark their models against this high-fidelity, real-world testbed. Looking ahead, future work must focus on reducing inference latency in deep learning models to meet sub-cycle relay requirements. We also plan to explore continual learning strategies, multi-zone datasets for joint classification and localization, and robustness under topology changes, ensuring that models remain reliable over time, even as the grid evolves. In the end, the question isn't which model is best, it's which model is most effective in practice. Our results suggest that, when it comes to real-time anomaly detection in modern power systems, the adaptive learning of neural networks may outperform the collective wisdom of ensembles. But only if we test them under the same conditions they'll face in the field. Because in the real world, the clock is always ticking, and the grid can't afford to wait.